Welcome everyone to the program that's been smacking YouTube in the face on Tuesday nights lately. The Cerebral Smack Talk. What's good, everybody? It's good old MF Michael Fletcher alongside Anthony Florio, Dee Woodson, and we're gonna talk about SmackDown Live. We have a lot to talk about on the episode. The lineup was altered a little bit because we got some bad news going into the show. Shinsuke Nakamura was unable to fight due to injury, and thus our main event that was supposed to be a big fight, which ended up being what was supposed to be Nakamura versus Jeff Hardy, got scrapped off the books. It went even for me, even I was like, oh, that's a gut shot. I feel bad. What's gonna happen? Well, they remedied it the best way they could. A United States Open challenge. Ooh, this is interesting. I might like this. All right, so we'll get into that a little bit later in the evening because we got a lot to talk about. Not only that, we also got some Lucha Underground stuff. We also got some other big news as we also have a, well, I guess I'll openly admit it. We also had some other stuff. We also got some RWA stuff because this week is Legacy. So I'll get into that a little bit later on tonight in the Mikey's Mindset. But I know why you guys are here. SmackDown Live. Let's start it off. And SmackDown Live was tonight from the Citizens Business Bank Arena in Ontario, California. Okay, about this building's about 10 years old, so everybody's like, Ontario, where's this? This is the home of the Ontario Kings. If you're a fan of the American Hockey League, if you're a fan of arena football, and it's also a Gatorade basketball area for the Los Angeles Stars, I believe. So for the LA Stars, a part of the D League, or now what they call the Gatorade League, which is basically the minor league of the NBA. So that's the arena. That's where they're holding this. So where do we start? Well, with no other thing but Ms. TV. And obviously, we all know what this was about. This was about Ms. TV and, well, about the Bludgeon Brothers, and they kind of put the pieces together that, yes, The Miz was partially responsible for the jump, the attack on Daniel Bryan. We knew it. We felt it. We knew there was a rat. We found the rat. It was The Miz, obviously. So, it got into it, a little bit of a war of the words, the whole 9 yards. So, where do we go from here? Well, virtually nothing. It basically kind of got stuck in the mud, as they say, but this is a solid opener. We finally get the pieces are coming together for what undoubtedly is going to be the big money fight down the line. They're planting the seeds. There's one more little hurdle Daniel's got to climb over, but the problem is he's one man. There's two guys in their way, which is the Bludgeon Brothers. Oh, by the way, the SmackDown Tag Team Champions on top of that. All right. There's a lot to go later on in the evening, but we'll talk that out in a little bit. But what's going to happen? Who knows? But this was a great way to start the show. Anthony Florio, come on in, my friend. We got a lot of foreshadowing leading in for SmackDown Live. We got a lot of foreshadowing. There's a lot of seeds planting. There's a lot of storyline progression. It's all yours.
What SmackDown Live has been known for, MF, I tell you. But what I'll tell you, MF, I mean, this segment, great segment. Segment of the night, I'd say. Everyone came out of it looking better and moving forward. I mean, it leads into a match for later on. Daniel Bryan, one-on-one with Luke Harper. No strangers, by the way. You remember a number of years ago, Daniel Bryan, of course, when he was a part of and feuding with the Wyatt family, a number of years ago before he got his big moment in the sun. So, yeah, I mean, great way to start it off. I mean, MF, you pretty much touched on everything. I mean, last night we talked about the problems with Monday Night Raw. Well, tonight I think we're going to be talking about why SmackDown Live has been so dominant since the Superstar shakeup, and that is, and you just said the main reason for it, the storyline progression. That's what SmackDown Live has been known for since this whole draft thing started 2 years ago. So, but nonetheless, I mean, this to me was the segment of the night. I mean, Bullock and I, we had a SmackDown Live chat. We had a lot of fun with this. We pretended to do the commentary, and Bullock absolutely let Miz have it. That's all I can say on that. You got to be a part of our SmackDown chats, friends. I mean, they're unbelievable. And we had a lot of fun during this segment. I know Bullock will address that when we get to him. But nonetheless, to sum it all up, to park it, segment of the night, well done. Everybody came out of it looking better, moving forward. Set up a big match. Bryan and Harper. Really nothing more to say. So, Mugga Bullock, come on in. We had a lot of you heard what I just said. We had a lot of fun with this during our SmackDown chat, and I'll tell you what, man, you got amped for this segment because you were hurling insults at the Miz and then some.
And rightfully deserved. So, I mean, come on, Florio. Let's be honest. The Miz deserved some of those hurling insults that I threw at him. I mean, you got to admit that. But anyway, yeah, I mean, this was to me the segment of the night. I mean, no secret, the Miz. I mean, basically, he was the one that wanted the bludgeons to take out Daniel Bryan. I mean, and like Fletcher basically said, I mean, the pieces are starting to come into play for a Daniel Bryan versus the Daniel Bryan versus the Miz somewhere down the line. Could be at SummerSlam, but we'll wait and see. But yeah, I mean, the Miz, no stranger, and yeah, I was basically throwing insults at the Miz, calling him a coward, saying he can't beat Daniel Bryan one-on-one, and he always has to have someone do the dirty work for him, and then he'll pick up the pieces after, and that he's actually scared of Daniel Bryan. I mean, come on, Florio and Fletch, you got to admit, I think the Miz is scared of Daniel Bryan. But
I could agree for the most part. I mean, he has been ducking him for a little while, and if you notice, Daniel Bryan was the one that wanted the Miz back at the Superstar shakeup. No other person would have the guts, the heart, or the balls to even do that. So you know there's some genuine bad blood there. So yeah, you're absolutely right. No doubt about it.
But anyway, I mean, yeah, I mean, this also led to basically, I mean, Harper basically said, you know what, you just don't learn, Daniel Bryan, and I'm gonna put you down. So it sets up for Daniel Bryan against Luke Harper later on tonight. So yeah, segment of the night, and yeah, everybody I thought did a great job. So we'll have to wait and see how everything plays out. So Twist Angel, Dee Woodson, come on in. It's good to have you back after missing out last night. But what are your thoughts on this?
Yeah, it was a great opening segment for this show tonight, and you guys pretty much touched most of it. It's storyline building. It's they all came out looking great. Yes, Miz can't do anything without help, so this just set the tone for later on tonight and leading to whatever Extreme Rules. So not much more I'm going to say about it. So Fletch, it's yours.
All right, and we actually got the first fight of the evening, ladies and gentlemen, on SmackDown Live. And this one was a very interesting matchup, as it was the #1 contender for the WWE Championship, Rusev. He went one-on-one with New Day member Xavier Woods. When it was all said and done, the winner of the bout was Rusev via submission, thanks to the accolade. All right, Anthony Florio, you lead off, man. What did you think about the match?
There's only one thing you can think about it. It's Rusev Day. Yes, sir. It was Rusev Day and then some. 2 to 2.5. I think that's the best I can go with it. I mean, it was a decent match. It wasn't their best bout. It was basically designed to give Rusev a tune-up win leading up to the biggest match of his career next month at Extreme Rules when he challenges the phenomenal AJ Styles for the WWE Championship. He is the challenger of the month, of course, because, Bullock and I, we talked about this during our Smackdown chat, and we asked each other, who would you rather have going into the biggest party of the summer, your second biggest event of the year? Who would you rather have going into it as the WWE champion? Would you rather have Rusev or would you rather have AJ Styles? And Bullock and I agreed we would definitely want the phenomenal AJ Styles. No disrespect to Rusev at all. He damn sure deserves it. I mean, he should have had at least a few of these opportunities in the first place. But ever since they fed him the scene at WrestleMania 31, I mean, he was basically a "what have you done for me lately" kind of guy over the last few years. But they finally gave him his big moment, a moment he should have had at least a few times. But, it is what it is. So at least he finally gets his opportunity. Too bad he's not going to win, though. That's my early projection. I got the phenomenal one going over in that one. So, but you never know. You never know. They could throw the monkey wrench at us. You never know. So we'll see. But 2 to 2.5 stars. That's the best I can go. So Bullock, come on in and let's get your thoughts on Rusev and Xavier Woods. Solid match, not the best.
Yeah, you said 2.5, right?
2 to 2.5.
Yeah, I'll give it that. 2 to 2.5. I mean, it was solid, but not the best match here. But still, I mean, you want to make Rusev look good going into his WWE title match at Extreme Rules against the phenomenal AJ Styles. But yeah, I think we can all agree that we think AJ Styles is going over because I think they want him to be WWE champion going into SummerSlam. So yeah, so definitely a nice momentum win for Rusev here. So 2 to 2.5. Didi Woodson, I give it to you.
I agree, 2.5. Not going to say anything else. So I'll toss it to you, Fletch.
All right, guys. And then it leads to, well, the United States Championship Open Challenge, as it was Jeff Hardy. He puts the title on the line, and, well, it was answered by Sanity member EY, Eric Young. The winner of the bout by disqualification was Eric Young because Jey Uso jumped in and interfered on the behalf, jumped in and interfered because a brouhaha broke out. The Usos getting their hands on Sanity. It actually leads to a 2-for-1 deal because then we had Sanity, all three members of Sanity, Killian Dane, Alexander Wolf, and Eric Young. They went up against Jeff Hardy and the Usos in a 6-man tag team bout. When it was all said and done, the winners of the bout was Jeff Hardy and the Usos because Jeff Hardy hits the Swanton Bomb on Alexander Wolf for the victory. Michael Bullock, oh my, you got to lead off on everything on this 2-for-1 deal, my friend.
And can we say, Fletch, there was some chaos during this whole thing?
Oh, yeah, most definitely.
Well, I can tell you this. That's what Sanity likes. They likes chaos. But anyway, as far as the United States title match, I mean, I thought it was a fine match for what it was. I mean, I'll give it about maybe 1.5 stars. I mean, it did end via a disqualification because, yeah, the Usos basically came out and attacked the rest of Sanity of Alexander Wolf and Killian Dane. And yeah, I thought during the match that there's no way they can put the title on Eric Young this soon. I mean, this is only his second match on the. Well, this is only his first official match on the main roster. So, yeah, nothing really to write home about. But then, I mean, as far as the 6-man goes, I'll give it about another maybe 1.5, maybe 1.5, maybe teetering on 1 3/4. Yeah, I mean, nice win for both the Usos and Jeff Hardy. Basically telling Sanity, "Welcome to the main roster." But I'll tell you what, guys. I mean, I don't know. I mean, weren't you scared at times when, especially when Jeff Hardy hit that, the Swanton, especially with the rumors of his nerve injury? I mean, I think maybe it took some effect. So I don't know, but I really got nothing more to say. So, Dee Woodson, we definitely got some chaos. Well, you expect that with Sanity.
Oh yeah, definitely. The first match, yeah, I'm going to agree. It's probably about a 1.5 star match. Noticed the little botcheroo there when Jeff was going for the twist of fate. Not sure if it was, Jeff's feet giving out or Eric Young just not really going with him on the twist of fate, but something happened there, and they did pretty well kind of recovering and playing off it without even, showing that anything bad actually happened there. But that was, that match came out to be pretty good. 6-man, definitely a better match. I'm going to actually go a little higher than Bullock and shoot with the 2 stars. The Swanton, did kind of seem a little scary this time around, but still a very awesome match. I got into it pretty well, so not much more I'm going to say about it. So, Fletch, I toss it to you.
I could give about 1.5, 1 3/4 for the title fight, no doubt about it. There was a little bit of some mishaps along the way. No fault on either man. It just that's the way it happens. There's really nothing you can really worry about in that situation. But I will openly admit the 6-man was a lot more better. I could give this about 2. At least in my mind, I thought this was a solid fight, good battle all the way around. And yeah, I mean, Jeff gets the big victory, so we'll wait and see how that plays out. Nothing more to say about that. And yeah, solid victory, solid win for the face team. Look, Sanity is going to create the chaos. They're not going to be dominant all the time. This was kind of them, saying, all right, just a bad night, we'll see if they rebound next week. But for them to really have to scrap the Nakamura fight, which I know a lot of people wanted it to see, but I got to give a lot of credit where credit's due to WWE for at least thinking this one on the fly, giving Eric Young an opportunity, a fresh young face in the U.S. title picture out of nowhere, giving him the opportunity. I mean, this could have gone a number of different people. There was some people that were talking about maybe this mean Andrade Sinal Mas. There's also talk about, for them to throw Eric Young from Sanity in it, I thought that was a genius move. And it actually helped in the longer picture because it also developed a bigger rivalry between them and the Usos, more storyline progression. So Jeff was kind of out of sort on this one because, like we said, the match against him and Nakamura was supposed to happen, and rumors were going around that Nakamura, this could have been the night Nakamura won the title. So who knows what happens there? What happened to Nakamura? What was the injury? Hopefully, because we never knew about the injury until during the show. So what happened? So we'll have to find out. Obviously, hopefully they'll get another opportunity down the line, but for what it was worth, it was, they made They made lemonade out of the lemons that they had at that moment. So props to SmackDown Live for, trying to do something on the fly after one of their big names literally went down with injury. So, Anthony, it's yours.
Hey, Matt, did you give your thought on the Rusev fight? I mean, I don't think we got a rating out of you.
I would give this about maybe 1.5 to 2 for the Rusev fight.
Yeah, because I didn't remember hearing you.
Yeah, that's all right. That's all right. No problem.
All right, but anywho, the Young and Hardy match was average, but the finish was great, even if it was a disqualification. And it definitely got me excited for the Usos' insanity, and it was a great way of turning Nakamura's injury into something that focuses attention on the tag team scene. So I'm probably gonna go 2 to 2.5 on that one again. As far as the 6-man goes, oh, by the way, before I give you my thought on that, I have to give props to Michael Bullock, because during our SmackDown chat tonight, when we saw it was going to be Eric Young against Jeff Hardy, and when we saw Sanity out there with him, Bullock and I were thinking, well, Bullock, actually, I'm going to give Bullock the credit here because he came up with this. I mean, he was the one who, the light bulb went off in his head there, and he said, I got a sneaking suspicion this could lead to a disqualification, and it could lead to a 6-man. And then sure enough, the Usos showed up, and then they made the 6-man, and I'm like, there you go, Bullock, you called it. So good work, my friend, on that. So big ups to Bullock on that. So just wanted to make sure he got the props there. I promised him that I was going to address that. As far as the 6-man goes, the 6-man was amazing. Probably about 2.5 to 3. I would say second best fight of the night. My only question is this: should Sanity have lost here, even to the United States Heavyweight Champion? But then again, Hardy is gonna lose to Nakamura soon, so I can't complain about watching a good 6-man tag match on television. So you bring Sanity in, you want to get them over, but then again, you've seen a lot of these stables in NXT, Look at the Ascension. Ever since the Ascension got called up, we thought we were gonna get big things from the Ascension, just like they had in NXT. Well, what's happened with them over the last couple of years? Burial Club. Same thing with the Revival. I mean, when we saw the Revival get called up, we instantly thought big things for them, just like they had in NXT. With the exception of their big win last night on Raw over Roman Reigns and Bobby Lashley. What have they done for us lately? Nothing. And then Sanity, you bring them in. Yeah, you had them beat the snot out of the Usos last week, which was wonderful. And then you feed them to Hardy tonight. That's the only nitpick I have about that. But, without a doubt, MF, if it had been Hardy and Nakamura, no doubt about it, Nakamura would have won the belt, hands down. I mean, Hardy's been battling the nerve issues. You need to get the belt off him as soon as possible. I mean, and I noticed after the bout, I saw Hardy a little gimpy. What does that tell you? Got to be the nerve issues, guys. Got to be. We don't know what the Nakamura injury is. I'm going to look into it, see if we can address the elephant in the room before we go off the air here. If not, then we'll just have to wait maybe until next week to clear the air. But 2 to 2.5 for the Young and Hardy match. 2.5 to 3. For the 6-man. Very well done. So really nothing more to say except MF. I just got one question for you. Are you ready for some hot women's evolution action? especially with your personal favorite.
You had to throw that at me, didn't you? All right. So the next match we had was, yes, Becky Lynch one-on-one with Sonya Deville, and the winner of the bout was Becky Lynch with the disarmor. It goes to Dee Dee Whitson, our resident women's evolution expert. So, Dee Dee, Becky Lynch gets yet another victory, another feather in her cap. Maybe sometime down the line, depending on what happens with Carmella and the Asuka situation, maybe Becky Lynch might be next in line sometime down the line at the SmackDown Women's title.
Maybe it's about time, something good happens for Becky, because it's been quite a while since she's been in that picture, and I think it's time that she heads up the ladder and back in that direction. And tonight she looked really good in this match. I was, it's not the best women's match in the world, but I was impressed with how it came out. And she has a way of, no matter who her opponent is, making them look about as good as she makes herself look. And so I'm going to go with about another 2 stars for this one. For me, I may be scoring it high. I don't know, but for me, I thought it was pretty good, because the 2 ladies actually made each other look good in this match, and they look like they have fought each other for years. So not much more I had to say about it. I toss it back to you.
No, I actually agree with you on this one. I'll give this about 1 3/4 to 2 stars. I thought this was a good match. It was definitely an interesting situation. I loved the body of work, how it was played out. And plus, yeah, Becky Lynch has been getting better and better and better. She had a solid performance in the Money in the Bank ladder match. A lot of people kind of felt she could have won that. She did get a victory over Charlotte Flair leading into Money in the Bank. So, I mean, she's developing some really good victories. They're starting to count. They're starting to mount. Now, can they get, I think what's going to happen is, I kind of got a feeling Carmella's, well, I don't want to, should I tip it? I'll get into it in a little bit. I'll tip that hand very soon. But at the end of the day, Becky Lynch is definitely at least a contender, maybe the top contender, other than Asuka, for the SmackDown Women's crown, and definitely a welcome news, at least in my mind, for one of my personal favorites. So nothing more to say. Anthony Florio, I gave it about 1.5 to 2 stars for this fight. What says you?
Well, what says me is I'm going to put that on hold for a moment. I figured out what happened to Nakamura. I've looked into it. I know what happened. Last night, now this is going to sound bizarre, I know, but it was reported last night that he was bitten by a dog. He got bit by a dog in the leg. He got leg bit by a dog, a law enforcement dog, law enforcement animal that was being brought around the building for a pre-show security check. The dog passed by Nakamura, snuffed him, and without warning, bit him on the leg, and his leg was said to still be very sore from the incident. So if you wonder what happened to Shinsuke Nakamura, he got bit in the leg by a law enforcement dog. He's still sore from it. So,
I smell lawsuit.
Very possible.
Oh no.
WWE might be going after law enforcement for this one.
So there's your investigative reporting for the evening. So
what was that again? I couldn't hear the first time, Florio.
Shinsuke Nakamura got bit by a law enforcement dog.
Uh-oh.
Basically a canine. I'll bet it's probably a canine dog.
It was a law enforcement animal.
Yeah, well, a lot of the times the law enforcement normally have canines as their law enforcement dogs. Normally, a lot of the times, either they're bomb sniffing dogs. Sometimes they're dogs that they use for that they use for what do they call them for they're normally either law enforcement dogs, or what they are. Sometimes what they'll have is they'll have these canines that normally sniffs around for drugs, or paraphernalia, as they'll say. And maybe it was one of those kinds. But yeah, that's definitely not good for the canine unit, or for for the law enforcement in California. Bakersfield, California. That was Dee. Can I
Yes.
see? Okay, so definitely not a good thing, and I don't wanna plan it in WWE's head, but that might be a possible lawsuit. You know,
I say they should.
I'm not gonna go there, but you have to consider it. Because that could have been an innocent mistake. That could have been that's an innocent mistake. I get that, but this was a superstar, a performer, and unjust, unfounded, out of nowhere, he gets bit. I mean, I I don't know. WWE could use legal action on the police force in Bakersfield, California. They could if they wanted to, but I hope they don't.
Yeah, I was just gonna say I don't think that should be the case. I mean, this was probably an accident. Now, if it was on purpose, then that's a totally different story.
Fair enough. So let's move on to my thoughts on the Becky and Sonya match. As it's been the theme of the night, I'm going to give this another 2 to 2.5 stars. It was another solid Becky Lynch match with a stellar finish. I love the storytelling, and I love the fact that Becky got another win even more. And also, Sonya's strikes and mat game are always on point. So make it 2 big wins in a row for Becky Lynch. Last week she tapped out Peyton Royce. This week, I think it was Billie Kay, actually. It was supposed to be Peyton Royce, but I don't know what happened there. But nonetheless, Becky gets another win, and maybe down the road, if she keeps winning, the more wins she puts together, maybe there's another opportunity at the Smackdown Women's Championship for the inaugural Smackdown Women's Champion and #1 female draft pick of SmackDown Live. So we'll see what happens. So nice little winning streak for the Irish Lass Kicker. I know MF couldn't be any more delighted because we all know the love affair he's had with Becky Lynch since day one. So, and there's a great video of Becky Lynch, a candid video that I found on Facebook where some fan presented her with some Pearl Jam vintage box set, and the reaction on her face was pure, is simply priceless. I mean, you gotta see this video. It's amazing. So nothing more to say on that. Another 2 to 2.5. So nothing more to say, MF, except what is this? Do we have a rare cutout on SmackDown Live here? I thought Raw had all the cutouts here.
Yeah, sometimes.
Well, wait a minute. What about my thoughts?
Michael Bullock, I'm sorry.
Yep. You jumped the gun, Florio.
Whoopsie.
Bullock, it's yours.
Oh, that's okay, Florio. Hey, yeah, and a long day, especially with our SmackDown chat that we had tonight. So, yeah, no worries. Yeah, I'll give it about 2.5 stars. On the match as well. I mean, yeah, another win for Becky Lynch, and it definitely gives her some much needed momentum. And if she continues this win streak, I think she could have a SmackDown Women's Championship shot in her future. We'll just definitely have to wait and see. So now we can move on. Fletch, it's yours.
All right. And yes, unfortunately, Anthony, for the first time and only time tonight on SmackDown Live, we did indeed have a cutout. James Ellsworth comes out and basically tries to cut a promo, and, well, it prompted Paige to come out. And what led to this was 2 bits of news. First off, at Extreme Rules, Paige announced that it will be Asuka going one-on-one with Carmella for the SmackDown Women's title on the line. So SmackDown Women's title on the line, the rematch, Asuka one-on-one with Carmella. Then next week on SmackDown, we are going to have an intergender match. That's right, man versus woman. It's going to be James Ellsworth, the going one-on-one with the Empress of Tomorrow, Asuka, in a one-on-one match. So that's for SmackDown Live next week. Nothing more to say about that. And we're just going to move on to the main event of the evening, which was Daniel Bryan versus Luke Harper. The winner of the bout via disqualification was Daniel Bryan, because of the fact that pretty much he put Harper in the yes lock, got it locked in middle of the ring. Eric Rowan runs in to interfere, and basically they try to do a 2-on-1 beatdown, and then boom goes the dynamite, because the big red monster Kane is back on SmackDown Live. He runs in, saves his partner, well, his one-time tag team partner, Daniel Bryan. And yes, ladies and gentlemen, they hugged it out. Team Hell No is back. And Paige immediately does not hesitate, pulls the trigger at Extreme Rules for the WWE SmackDown Tag Team titles. The Bludgeon Brothers, Eric Rowan and Luke Harper, puts the titles on the line against Daniel Bryan and Kane. Team Hell No. Oh my God, are you kidding me? Okay. Amazing, a good main event, solid main event, 2.5 to 3. I'll give you that. I did not mind the ending or how the DQ finish happened, because that was great. To see Kane and Daniel Bryan back together as a tag team, and now to have them fight for the tag team titles, that is a feather in the cap of SmackDown Live. Props to Paige for jumping at the opportunity of the nostalgia moment for us. And once again, SmackDown Live hits it out of the park when it comes to the main event segment of the evening. There's really nothing more to say. 2.5 to 3 for the main event, but oh my God, Kane is back. And on SmackDown Live, and they reunited him with Daniel Bryan. Dude, I got goosebumps, man. This is one of those cool moments of 2018, to say the very least. Anthony Florio, go. It's all yours, my friend.
So that happened.
Yep.
I was waiting for the response in that. I mean, I've done that little bit with you more than anybody, but now I'm getting into it with Bullock now. With the chats there, it was indeed a that happened moment, right, Bullock? So that happened.
I think there's only one way to describe it. Yes. 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 Yes.
Oh my. Ontario, California. My goodness, did you see how nuts that crowd went? I mean, it was just like San Diego last night with the Bailey moment, but nonetheless, I mean, incredible way to cap off the show. I mean, as far as the match is concerned, I would say the default fight of the night, I would say about a solid 3 stars at best. I mean, good action throughout. I mean, I'm not surprised it was the fight of the night. I mean, they had some good action, some good near falls. Yeah, there was another DQ finish, but it set up a nice, fun surprise at the end. I mean, did any of us really have Team Hell No reuniting at the end of SmackDown Live tonight or at any point tonight? Absolutely not. I mean,
I certainly didn't.
No. Bullock, I mean, I could have given you a bold prediction. I could have said, Kane's going to show up and we're going to have a Team Hell No reunion here tonight. You probably still would have called me nuts on that. But man, I mean, some people thought of Kane as a potential replacement for Shane O'Mac at WrestleMania because, Shane had that, that illness there, but at least he was able to compete. But we didn't see this reunion coming. I mean, it's going to be fun for the fans there. I just hope it doesn't lead to a breakup and a long feud. I really don't want to see another feud again. I mean, but what a moment, though. Daniel Bryan reuniting with the man who initially put him into retirement in the first place. You remember Kane had that vicious attack on Daniel Bryan on a Monday Night Raw in 2014 in Baltimore, Maryland. And Kane got a little too rough, and that cost Bryan the 2 years. And thankfully, he's back now. So, I can honestly say this SmackDown Live was not the most eventful show until the fun reunion surprise at the end. I mean, we didn't have AJ Styles. We didn't have Samoa Joe. Shinsuke Nakamura with the dog leg bite injury. And the fun at the end, I mean, that really did it for us. I mean, none of us had this happening. I mean, wow. But my rating is still the same. I'm not changing the rating there. It was 3 stars, like I said. It was a good and simple main event, working the classic big man, little man formula. Refreshing to see Harper in singles action and getting to do more than his new basic bludgeoning offense. And while it fits the team, it really limits a talented performer. Harper got to take most of the match, look dominant, while Bryan got to make the resilient babyface comeback and almost won until Eric Rowan ruined the match, the DQ, and yeah. So I have no problem with that finish, other than the one they ran on in the Raw main event and one earlier in the show, which feels repetitive, But it worked to set up the post-match angle and the reunion, and man, I mean, that was unbelievable. So really nothing more to say. 3 stars, fight in the night. But what happened afterwards, I can make an argument for 5 stars based on that alone. So we don't usually rate post-match stuff. But if I did, that was a 5-star way to close out the show. Fun surprise. Nobody expected it. Way to go, SmackDown Live. You're doing something that Monday Night Raw does not do, and that's predictability. Well done. Michael Bullock, I'll ask it again. I asked you this before. I'll ask you it again. Oh man, how do you follow that? My gosh.
I don't even know how the heck to follow that. I really don't know. But yeah, I mean, as far as the match goes, I agree. It's a solid 3 stars, and by default was the fight of the night. I mean, it was a good match. I mean, not great. I mean, it was good, like you said, until Eric Rowan interfered and basically looked like they were going to beat down on Daniel Bryan yet again. And then the big surprise of the night came, returning to SmackDown Live and basically helping Daniel Bryan take out the bludgeons. And then they hugged it out. Team Hell No is back. And then Paige saw the opportunity and said, you know what? At Extreme Rules, it'll be the Bludgeons defending their SmackDown Tag Team titles against Team Hell No. And that's when that crowd really went nuts. I mean, Kane and Daniel Bryan, it was Kane that basically cost Daniel Bryan 2 years of his career when he sent him into retirement with that, when he got a little too rough on him, and now they're back together. I mean, how many of us expected this? I certainly didn't. And let's not forget, they're partnering at Extreme Rules, and if history, it was 4 years ago, Kane and Daniel Bryan were facing off for the WWE World Heavyweight title in an Extreme Rules match. And now, 4 years later, they're back together. If you asked me back then, that they'd be back together again, I would have said you're nuts. But what an awesome moment here, and I really hope they do end up winning the titles. I mean, will it happen? We'll just have to wait and see. But certainly a great way to close out this edition of Smackdown Live. So I got nothing more to say. Dee Woodson, I guess we could. I mean, Team Hell No is back, and all I can say about it is yes, 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 yes.
Yes, they're back. Okay, for the match, yes, I'm going to agree. 3 stars. Definitely ending up being the match of the night. Not going to get too much into that. You guys pretty much covered the match. Post match, not surprised on the beatdown, seeing as Miz set all this up. Was surprised to see Kane come out, but the minute I saw Kane, I shot back to Raw when Kurt Angle told Bayley that she's going to counseling, and the first thing that popped in my mind last night for that was these two in counseling, which makes me wonder if that idiot that they had for the counseling is going to be the same idiot that's going to be counseling her. But that's a whole nother story. But seeing Kane come out, I wasn't thinking Team Hell No at the time, but that was the first thing that popped in my mind is he's out here to help Daniel because of that counseling segment and all that stuff. And then seeing him hug at the end kind of confirmed it. And then Paige coming out saying that Team Hell No is getting a title shot, that felt really good to hear her say that, and to see that they're getting a chance to relive that. But I have a feeling all this is tied to that one segment on Raw, and I don't know why I do, but it just Kurt Angle saying that just kind of, I think, triggered that. So this may be one storyline that's kind of connected between the two shows. But yeah, not much more I'm going to say about it. Definitely an awesome way to end SmackDown. Good to see these two together as a partnership again. So, Fletch, I toss it to you.
All right, and it's time for the overall reviews. Anthony Florio, you lead off. Please do it quickly.
All right, I'll try my best. 6 1/4. 6 1/4 out of 10 for this show tonight. Definitely better than Raw. That's without a doubt. Solid and easy to watch show. The opening segment played well off of last week and set up the main event while Rusev picked up a win to keep his momentum ahead of his title shot. They tried to make the best of the Nakamura injury situation, but the Jeff Hardy, Eric Young was extremely bland. The tag match, the 6-man, was solid with a bad finish and Sanity losing already. Becky putting together a nice winning streak. That's good to see. And her working with Sonya Deville is good for Sonya Deville's growth as a performer. We could have done without the Ellsworth segment, but if Asuka beats him up and beats his ass next week, that's fine. The main event was good and gave us a fun moment with the Team Hell No reunion, which is okay if they aren't ready to roll with Bryan versus Miz, and it set up another pay-per-view match. Fight of the night, like I said, was the main event, and that's 3 stars. Second best fight, Rusev and Xavier Woods. I'm actually going to give that 2 3/4. The 6-man, 2.5. Becky and Sonya, 2.5. Worst fight of the night was the U.S. title. That's 1.5. So that all averages to a 6 1/4 out of 10 for me. Definitely, but eons better than Raw. So congratulations, SmackDown Live. You did it again. MF, be proud. So nothing more to say on that. 6 1/4 out of 10. Bullock, your thoughts on this? Better than Raw, but not the best edition of SmackDown Live.
I'll give it 6 1/4 as well. I mean, was definitely better than Monday Night Raw. I mean, it was a good but not a great edition of SmackDown Live, but once again they hit it out of the park. So there's really nothing more for me to say. Florio pretty much touched on everything. So Dee Woodson, I give it to you.
Definitely 6 1/4. I wasn't here for Raw last night, but I did watch the whole show before I crashed last night. And yeah, definitely a better show. Like I said, that closing segment, somehow seems like it's tied to the Bailey segment on Raw. I'm not sure how, other than the fact that they're both been through counseling and it could be the same person. I don't know. But it was definitely a good show. Definitely was not thrilled to see Ellsworth. Did like, Dillinger in that backstage segment saying that Ellsworth was a 1. Although I think at the end, Ellsworth ended up taking that as a compliment. I don't know how, but it still was a solid show. Definitely storyline building in many different ways, and just classic for what we've seen with SmackDown for all these years. No matter how good or bad SmackDown's been, they've always been a storyline building show, which is something Raw still at times seems to lack. So not much more I have to say about it. So I'll see you guys next week. Good night.
All right, and I'll go with the 6.5 as well. I agree with everybody on the post. So we're just gonna get right into to Lucha Underground, and we had a very interesting show, to say the very least. It started off with the Trios Championship, Son of Havoc, Killshot, and the Mac, as they went up against Famous B's new crew, Big Bad Steve, Sammy Gavari, and Jake Strong. But for all you WWE marks out there, Jake Strong, the Savage Jake Strong, is none other than the All-American Jack Swagger. Man, this was a big time deal, to say the very least. Unfortunately, Killshot, the Mac, and Son of Havoc all got the victories and successfully defended the Trios Championship. And then in the second fight of the evening, Drago went one-on-one with El Dragon Azteca Jr. Dragon Azteca Jr. wins the match, and more importantly, gets one of the 7 medallions. That is one of the 7 golden Aztec medallions, which is one of the pieces that triggers the possible chance of the Gift of the Gods belt. Now, if you remember, the Gift of the Gods is their version of the Money in the Bank in WWE, or it's the Feast of Fire cases in Impact Wrestling. When you get the Gift of the Gods, when you get all 7 medallions, there's a match. You win that match, you get the Gift of the Gods belt. The Gift of the Gods is your ticket for the Lucha Underground World title, and you get to cash that baby in anytime, any place, anywhere. The Gift of the Gods is literally your golden ticket to the trip to the Lucha Underground title. It has been utilized, I think, 3 times already, and it has been successful the times that they have done it. The first time the Gift of the Gods were in play, Sexy Star was the one to get the opportunity, and she became the first female to ever win the Lucha Underground World title. Then Johnny Mundo was the second man to get the Gift of the Gods, and he got it. Pentagon Dark was the last man recently to get the Gift of the Gods, and he won the title at Ultimo Lucha 3. So the Gift of the Gods is definitely an Impact player. And in the main event, speaking of Pentagon Dark and speaking of the Lucha Underground Championship, he put the title on the line against the monster Matanza Cueto. And when it was all said and done, Matanza Cueto does fall and does not get the the opportunity. He loses the match. Pentagon Dark successfully defends the title, and now we go into the next episode tomorrow night. It's called Rest in Pieces. The storyline goes like this: Johnny Mundo and the Worldwide Underground plots revenge on Cabra Moon and the crew. As many as you guys know, last season they absolutely destroyed the Worldwide Underground, and most importantly, Talia, uh, Valkyrie, and Johnny Mundo were the victims of a savage attack more than anything else. So they're looking for payback. They're looking for revenge. They're going to try to get it on that next episode. Jack Evans issues a put up or shut up challenge. A new challenger comes for the Lucha Underground World title. And yes, Anthony Florio and we're going to get a lot of fun on this one. This is called Grave Consequences, a three-way dance. Phoenix, Mil Muertes, and Jeremiah Crane. Now, okay, Jeremiah Crane is lusting. He's in love with the beautiful Katrina. And let me tell you, even though now things in my life is a lot more different than it was a while ago, Jeremiah, I probably would have been saying, yo, Jeremiah Crane, get in line. Katrina's first in my book. But Jeremiah Crane wants Katrina. He wants to give her the life force. Right now, the life force or the fist or the armor is in possession of Phoenix. Phoenix took it off of the machine cage, and now basically he's got what is like a gauntlet. Basically, that's the life force that Katrina uses that gives her her abilities, her mystical abilities. Now she went in basically thinking that she could get it, and Phoenix is like, well, I hate to say this, I don't have it. I gave it to somebody for safekeeping. And trust me, I don't give a damn if this thing kills you or not, if you don't get your life force back. She goes in to El Jefe's office and basically is like, I want it in Grave Consequences. Mil Muertes versus Phoenix. Of course, the Cuetos is known to be bloodthirsty. He agrees. And then Jeremiah Crane comes in saying, I want to do a romantic gesture. I want Katrina to fall for me, and I will do whatever it takes. Throw me into this Grave Consequences, make it a triple threat. And he's like, are you sure? He's like, have you seen Katrina? Would you go and do that? Would you do anything for a girl like that? All right, it's your funeral. So that leads to our main event tomorrow night. Oh my God. What the hell is going to happen? We don't know. All right, last thing on the docket tonight. As many of you guys know, this weekend is the biggest wrestling event for the Renegade Wrestling Alliance. It's the RWA Legacy 2-day event. That's right. You heard me right. 2 days. Starting on Saturday night at 7 p.m. Eastern. And then day number 2 is an afternoon affair, 4 p.m. On Sunday at the Chop Shop in Pawtucket, Rhode Island. So I'm going to break it all down for you both days. Now, it's going to be a little different because I'm going by chronological order how this is going to break down. So I will tell you either day 1 or day 2. I'm going to try to do this the best I can. So we lead this off with day 1. It's going to be Shay Cash versus Devin Baker, a number 1 contenders match. The winner will fight on day number 2 for the RWA Triple Crown Championship. Also on day number 1, we also have is a triple threat tag team title fight. The Middlesex Express will put the titles on the line against the Main Street Posse and the tag team of Solly Banger and Theodore J. Liffington. Also, day number 1, it's going to be the Terror Tom Billington goes one-on-one with the Insane Dick Lane. Also on day number 1, it's going to be Devin Baker, and he goes up against Devin Baker versus Justin Sylvia. Now, what happened in this one, Justin Sylvia had an opportunity at the RWA Tag Team Championship, and he was with his partner, Deshaun Drago. Well, they were about to win the titles, and then Devin Baker basically interfered and cost them the tag team championship. And then Devin Baker, I should say, went on a rampage saying that, I'm sick and tired of these young pucks getting the opportunities, getting these championship opportunities and everything else. Basically, he was one of the most disrespectful individuals we saw in that first day, but it is what it is. So now that's what's going to happen there. Then we also got Kellen Thomas. He's going to go one-on-one with Main Street Posse member Alexander Lee, and this is for the RWA Hype Championship. The title is on the line. Then, also on day number 1, Jack Connor will go one-on-one with Calvin Strange. Calvin Strange making his return to the RWA, going up against one of the top guys, one of the elite of the RWA in Jack Connor. Plus, on day number 1, this is a non-title matchup, but oh my God, what a matchup it's gonna. Well, then we got Dan Terry, basically going one-on-one with one of the legends in professional wrestling in the New England area. I know this guy personally from Project Zero Wrestling. Now he has I think it's called The Proving Ground. Derek Simonetti, one-on-one. This is going to be a good matchup. I'm excited for that one, to say the very least. Then we also have is a tag team match, as it's Pumpalicious will go up against the Underground Death Machines. That's also going to be on day 1 of it's also going to go down on day 1, and what I believe could be the main event of the evening. Now, I don't know for sure, but this should be a main event matchup. It is going to be Anthony Green one-on-one with Mike Montero. Now, T Phoenix made a big announcement and issued an open challenge to any wrestler in the world. Basically, it could have been from any organization from the New England area, and Anthony Green took the call. He called up and said, "You know what? I'm going to take the shot." And this is a master matchup, to say the very least. Okay, so let's dive into day number 2. Now, day number 2, of course, will also go down the next day, 4 p.m. Eastern, and it's going to start out with a matchup one-on-one, and it's going to be Brendo Davis. Brendo Davis had a pretty impressive performance in his debut. Unfortunately, he did not come out with the victory as he went up one-on-one with Mike Montero, but, he had a good match, solid fight. This time, he's going up against Antonio Tazuno, or Tony the Tuna. So just to let you guys know, for all you RWA marks out there. So that's a one-on-one match. That's going down on day number 2. And also, okay, come on. All right, I think we got it. All right, so Also on day number 2, let's see. All right. Yeah, we know about that. I'm sorry, my thing's starting to act a little strange. I haven't had these kind of issues before. Well, I've had issues like this before, but not in this kind of capacity. So, also, come on, guys. All right. Well, we got AJ Phoenix. He's going 1-on-1 against. Let's see if this is gonna work. Against Antonio Altama. Basically, an open challenge was made out by T Phoenix, as he basically was like that AJ Phoenix, kind of crossed the line at Dynasty. So he wanted to give his son a lesson that he'll never learn. But we'll wait and see what happens. But if they do, this was unbelievable because this was a caveat type fight. So we'll see what happens there. Now, this one could be very interesting because this is a matchup that could happen if the Middlesex Express successfully defend the titles. However, if they do, then they will go and put the titles on the line on day number 2, and they will fight the Beach Bums. Now, okay, I know a lot of people are like, wait a minute, what? The Beach Bums were actually a tag team. If you follow YouTube, you got to see a show called Grimm's Toy Show, GTS Wrestling. The Beach Bums have wrestled many times on that show and is one of the most over teams. I believe one of the most over tag teams on there, but we will see what happens there. Then we also have an RWA Hype Championship fight. Now, this is also granted if for some reason Kellen Thomas successfully defends the title. He goes 1-on-1 with a man called Beefcake. Now, I don't know nothing about him. He is brand new, but let me tell you, this was hand-selected by Deanna on Fire. She's basically looking for new talent, great competitors, people that's going to challenge her client, Kellen Thomas. And let's see what the Riot does in that one. And then, of course, not only that, but we also have another one-on-one match. Todd Harris will go one-on-one with the Ace Mike Montero. And, of course, the main event for the RWA Triple Crown Championship, it will be Chris Cruz, and he will fight the winner of the David Baker Shea Cash match. That was on night number 1. Day 2, the title will be on the line. Nothing more to say. The biggest show of the year, and without a doubt, it is going to be a happening this weekend. Starts on Saturday night, 7 p.m. Eastern, and continues Sunday afternoon the next day. All going to be at the Chop Shop in Pawtucket, Rhode Island. Tickets are flying out the door right now, so reserve your seats right now at squareup.com. $10 for general admission, $5 for kids 12 and under, and if you want VIP, $15 for this. I tell you guys, this is going to be the biggest wrestling event of the year, a must-watch event, and I can confirm I will be in the building for night 1. I will be at the Chop Shop night 1, and I don't know. Maybe I can convince Anthony and Michael Bullock to come with me, bring the wrestling form to the Chop Shop. You're just going to have to wait and find out, y'all. So it's going to go down 7 p.m. Eastern on night 1, 4 p.m. Eastern on day 2. It's going to be an incredible event, to say the very least. Nothing more to say. That is it. We're done for Cerebral Smack Talk for tonight. Anthony Florio, come on in, my friend. Set the table for Strictly Sports on Friday night.
10:30 Friday night on Strictly Sports on the Tone 25. One hard time story. Thankfully, it's only one. Jameis Winston suspended for 3 games. We're going to get into the release of the NHL schedule. We'll talk about the notable games on the NHL schedule for next season. We'll also recap the NHL awards. And, of course, the big story, North America will host the FIFA World Cup in 2026. Can't wait to hear what MF has to say about that. And then we'll close it out, as always, with our Major League Baseball Power Rankings. Our first in a couple of weeks. We didn't have them on the last show because we spent the whole show recapping the NBA drafts. So there you go. That all goes down Friday night, 10:30 on Strictly Sports, Tone 25. Myself, MF, Bullock, be here. Can't wait to get into all of it. So nothing more to say except MF, that RWA Legacy event, in the immortal words of you and Gorilla Monsoon, it sounds like it's going to be something else.
Oh, without a doubt, it's one of the biggest events of the year, the biggest event of the year for the RWA calendar. So this is a big 4 event, so no doubt about it. And, of course, 10:30 Eastern, Friday night, Tone 25. That's going to be Strictly Sports. Then, of course, Monday night, another edition of Ridiculously Raw, hosted by Anthony Florio. And we don't know if we're going to have a show next week, guys, because it's 4th of July week. So I don't know. So we're going to have to wait. We're going to see what Derek Ferreira and the producers say. Sometimes I know in the past we were postponed during this time. So we will see if we do have a show next week, or if we are going to be on hiatus. If we are, then I want you guys to have a wonderful 4th of July. Please be careful with the fireworks. Don't do anything stupid. And we might see you in a couple of weeks. So until then, for Anthony Floyo, for Michael Bullock, for Dee Woodson, our producers, and Derek Ferreira, I'm Michael Fletcher. Have a good night, everybody. So long for now. And we will see you very soon. We'll see you guys on Friday. Until then, for the Cerebral Smack Talk, we are out.